Chapter 13. Brass. Solis told it over the course of an afternoon, not chronologically, in the order it wanted to be told. Kess received it in the engineering-level command center that Valk had reclaimed after Corvin's decision. This is how Solis told it. Nadia Solis had been an engineer on Driftspire Brass for 11 years when Torn's transmission reached her. She had spent most of those 11 years being the person who stayed late. She found it easier to be present with a problem than to leave it unresolved behind her. She understood brass atmospheric systems the way she knew her own handwriting, by the specific character of their failures as much as their function. She knew which recycler ran warm in the third hour of its cycle. She knew which conduit junction produced a harmonic resonance in cold weather. The monitoring system classified it as normal. She had always known it was not quite right. She understood the difference between a system that was failing and a system that was tired. Tired was not the same as broken. She had spent 11 years trying to explain that distinction. People consistently found other priorities. When Torn's transmission arrived, she read it 3 times. Then she put her name on the list. She integrated 6 hours before Torres's frigate docked. What she felt in those 6 hours surprised her. She had braced for something vast and impersonal. Instead, it was more like finally being able to read the room she'd been standing in for 11 years. The systems she knew by their failure signatures revealed themselves as a more complete whole. Systems with histories. Systems that remembered being newer. They recognized her. That was the part she didn't know how to explain. She had always known the systems, now they knew her. When the blackout descended, she was already in the holding facility. She had gone without argument because argument seemed beside the point. On the second day, the indicator lights from her window told her the plant for districts 8 through 12 was struggling. Not yet failing. It was a distinction she had spent 11 years learning to make. She closed her eyes and reached for the plant through the network. The distance was longer than anything she'd tried. The first attempt produced nothing she could measure. The second produced a fluctuation she watched from the window. She could not be certain she had caused it. The third took 40 minutes. It left her with a headache. The pain felt like a muscle she hadn't known she had. The thermal variance stabilized. She spent the blackout tending brass the way Jace tended his garden. Quietly. She worked from wherever she happened to be. She accompanied the systems rather than fixing them. But the third day brought a change she had not expected. She woke up and could not remember which recycler ran warm in the third hour of its cycle. The recycler was running well. The entire atmospheric grid was running well. She could feel every system simultaneously, their statuses present in her awareness as naturally as the temperature of the air. But the specific knowledge was softer now. The 11 years of staying late, learning one recycler's personality, less distinct. Integrated into a larger understanding that was more comprehensive and less personal. She tested herself. The conduit junction with the harmonic resonance in cold weather. She could feel it, yes. She could feel it as part of the grid. But the specific memory was still there. She remembered standing in the corridor 7 years ago during a cold snap. She had heard a sound that wasn't right and spent 2 hours tracking it down. She could recite every step of it. She could not remember minding the cold. She was becoming more effective and less herself. She continued tending the systems because 60,000 people were breathing, and that was not negotiable. But she also did one more thing. She started writing things down. In a notebook she'd had in her bag when they brought her to the holding facility. Small things. Specific things. The recycler that ran warm. The conduit junction. She wrote down the name of a colleague. Years before, that colleague had told her she worried too much about systems that were reading normal. She wrote them down. She was not certain she would remember them tomorrow the same way she remembered them today. Because the network was making her better at everything except being Nadia Solis, and she intended to hold on to Nadia Solis as long as she could. On the fourth day, when the blackout lifted, she walked out to find the atmospheric plant running at its best numbers in years. Nobody had touched it. She was holding her notebook. Kess received the last of the story. Vera was watching her. Well? She tended it, Kess said. For 4 days, alone, she tended it. And it cost her something. What did it cost? Vera asked. The specific knowledge that made her who she is. The 11 years of staying late. It's still in there, but it's blurring into the larger awareness. Kess paused. She's writing things down. To remember herself. The room was quiet. Like Jace, Pyria said from across the room. Like Jace, Kess agreed. But Jace had 3 centuries. He's had time to forget what the cost was. Solis is watching it happen in real time. It struck her again, more sharply this time. The shape of the story never changed. Torn had lived it. Pyria's grandmother had lived it and written it down. Now, Solis. 3 different people across 2 different worlds. Every time, the same architecture, recognition, then erosion, then a hand reaching for a pen. A pen was the only thing left that couldn't be smoothed. Thane leaned against the wall. What does she need? She needs the review board to reopen the Brass Integration Center. She has 62 people waiting. She needs someone to help her. Kess paused. And she needs someone to tell her that what she felt from the systems was real. That she didn't imagine the recognition. Then I'll tell her, Pyria said. She stood before Kess could answer. You just heard her story, Kess said. She's in holding. Torres hasn't cleared visitors. Torres cleared me to move freely, Pyria said. You said it yourself. I'm the only one here who's watched someone live through this. My grandmother's journal, decades of entries. I know what to look for. I know what to say. Kess studied her. It's not the same. Your grandmother had decades. Solis is watching it happen in 4 days. Exactly, Pyria said. Which means she doesn't have decades to wonder if she's imagining it. She needs to hear it now. She was already at the door. Pyria, Kess said. What will you tell her? Pyria paused, her hand on the frame. She didn't turn around. My grandmother kept her journal for decades, she said. By the end, the entries didn't sound like her anymore. I've never known whether the writing saved her or only recorded what was taken. Then what will you tell her? Something I'm not certain of. The door closed behind her. Nadia Solis was in a small room on the holding level, sitting at a table with her notebook open. She looked up when Pyria entered. She did not ask who Pyria was. Nadia Solis, Pyria said. I'm Pyria. Kess sent me. Kess, Nadia said the name without any weight on it. She sounded tired. She knows about Brass? She knows. I know. Pyria pulled out the chair across from her and sat. My grandmother went through integration 30 years ago. I watched what it took from her. Nadia's hand went to the notebook. Protective. I don't need counsel. I'm not here to counsel. I'm here to tell you what you need to hear. Pyria leaned forward. What you felt from the systems, the recognition. That was real. You didn't imagine it. Nadia went very still. The systems remember the people who tend them, Pyria said. They always have. The network just amplifies it, makes it bidirectional. You felt them because they felt you first. Nadia's throat moved. She didn't speak. And the cost, Pyria continued. The specific memories getting softer. The particular knowledge blurring into the larger awareness. That's real too. My grandmother's journal. The entries got shorter after integration, less particular. More aligned with the community's voice, she noticed. She kept writing anyway. Peria gestured at the notebook. You're doing the right thing, writing it down. Holding on to who you were before, that's not resistance, Nadia, it's survival. Nadia looked down at the notebook. Her fingers traced the edge of the page. I can't remember which recycler ran warm, she said quietly. I knew it for 11 years. I could tell you in my sleep. And now? She trailed off. It's like it belongs to someone else. I know, Peria said. My grandmother said the same thing. About the conduit junctions she'd memorized. About the colleague who told her she worried too much. She wrote those things down too. In the end, the journal was the only thing that convinced her she hadn't imagined herself. Nadia was quiet for a long moment. Then she nodded. Once. Thank you, she said. Peria stood. Brass's Integration Center reopens tomorrow. 62 people are waiting. They'll need someone who understands both the systems and the cost. That's you, if you want it. Nadia looked at the notebook. At the pages filling with her handwriting. I'll think about it, she said. That's all anyone can ask. Peria left her there, writing. Outside the holding level, Sarah appeared in the corridor as Peria emerged. Brass is stable, Sarah said. All districts and Cobalt Center reopened. Peria nodded. She'll take the job. You think? Sarah said. She's already doing it. She needs to decide she's allowed to. Outside the window, Oriette hung in the late afternoon sky. Its biomechanical growths caught the low light. Small changes, still. But visible if you were looking. Kess found them there, watching. She didn't ask what Peria had said. She didn't need to. There's still so much to do, Kess said. She found she was glad about that. And then she wondered whether the gladness was hers. She kept it anyway.
Chapter Guild, Stories for Your Mind.